Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sturbridge. Welcome and welcome back to the 46th Pan Mass Challenge. Whether you are one of the 5 riders or volunteers that have been with us since 1980, or just heard a cowbell for the first time, tonight you're part of something that moves the world forward. We are a community that shows up, that gives back, that gets closer by the mile to cures to each other and to a world without cancer. A movement like this takes more than heart, it takes partnerships. And we're grateful for those who stand with us. Thank you to our co-presenting sponsors, the Red Sox Foundation and M&T Bank. As well as our 200 corporate and in-kind sponsors. And of course, I am grateful for our alliance with Dana-Farber, so I'm also pleased to welcome back 7-year rider, President and CEO of Dana-Farber, Dr. Ben Ebert. Ben is a world-renowned physician-scientist who has dedicated his career to advancing breakthroughs through blood cancers. Since last October, Ben brings the same leadership, passion, and teamwork from the lab as he does to the PMC. In addition to Ben, there are over 160 Dana-Farber employees who ride or volunteer in the PMC. If you are one of them and in attendance tonight, will you please stand up if you're able? This year, we intend to raise a record-breaking $76 million for Dana-Farber. It's ambitious, but so are we. As of tonight, we've already raised over $50 million, and we're not slowing down. To date, we've raised over $1 billion cumulatively. And as I now say, 1 in a billion is so yesterday. We are already riding toward the 2nd billion, and I believe we will be getting there by 2037 or sooner. And I intend to be on a bike then, so I expect you all as well. One man determined to accelerate that fundraising journey is 3rd-year rider Rob Hale, co-founder and president of Granite Telecommunications, philanthropist, co-owner of the Boston Celtics, and longtime supporter of Dana-Farber. Rob brings to this year's ride a 46-person team and a monumental gift of $3.6 million. Rob, I'm hoping Rob's here. If Rob's here, will you stand up, Rob? Take a quick bow. Rob Hale, did you get here? Well, okay, he's not that shy. I'm going to guess he's not in the room yet. It is amazing what a bike with a mission can do. Over the years, we have captured that mission in a series of slogans, many that have been borrowed by national brands that reflect both who we are and where we are headed. Somewhere just over the hill lies the cure for cancer. Be 1 in a million. Chances are you've been sitting on a cure for cancer. Closer by the mile. Everyday heroes. Living proof. Virtual riders. Pedal partners. What a bike was meant to do. Commit. You'll figure it out. There's a lot riding on us. Be one in a billion. These are not just phrases. They are milestones on a wise trail that balances durability, efficiency, and flexibility. One that adapts to the world around while never losing sight of the destination, curing cancer. Speaking of milestones, tomorrow is our final departure from Sturbridge, a site etched in PMC lore. It has served as a reunion for generations of PMCers, where old friends identify each other by the T-shirts they proudly wear, and longtime riders and volunteers introduce the next generation to the ride. Sturbridge will forever be a cherished chapter in the PMC story, a symbol of determination, unity, and hope. In 2026, we begin a new chapter as our central Massachusetts start moves to Worcester and the College of the Holy Cross, which offers us greater accessibility, modern facilities, and a century route that's a little kinder. But tonight, we honor Sturbridge one final time, forever a cornerstone of PMC history. And that brings me to someone who embodies the next generation of this movement. Riding his 9th PMC and his first from Sturbridge, please welcome Team Next Gen co-captain, Will Cunningham. On the light.
Thank you, Billy. Good evening, everyone. And a quick thank you to the entire PMC organization for the vision and execution that makes all of this possible. My name is Will Cunningham, and I'm honored to be here tonight representing over 100 members of Team Next Generation. Now in our 7th year together, 30 of us have made it out to Sturbridge for the last year of this remarkable chapter in PMC history. And now that Billy's convinced us to add on the extra mileage, we couldn't be more excited to see everyone in Worcester next year. My connection to the PMC is almost lifelong. It began through Dana Smith, who is a second mother to me, and who some here may have heard speak at the Heavy Hitter event back in May. Under Dana's watchful supervision and organizational leadership, my earliest memories of the PMC are of riding laps around the Babson campus and the kids' rides, going past faces of pedal partners lining the road, which ultimately became a precursor to volunteering at the tent at Lakeville years later in high school. In 2017, when Dana was first diagnosed with cancer, the ride became deeply personal. 2 years later, 7 of us, including Dana's 3 children, Ryan, Madeline, and Jackson, decided to formalize our passion for the event and start Team Next Generation. Having grown up surrounded and inspired by earlier generations of PMCers, we realized that it was our turn to get on the road and start building a team. Since then, we've had over 200 riders register. You'll see 90 of us on the road this weekend, a dozen volunteering at Lakeville, and another 30 or so in our upcoming reimagined rides in Dallas, San Francisco, and Bozeman. Those not back with us this year will be in the future. We at NextGen wholeheartedly embrace the mantra that we're not the mafia, we're not a cult, but there's no way out. When asking members of NextGen why PMC, the universal answer that comes back is people come for the mission and stay for the community. Where in our second year 6 years ago, we were thrilled to convince my older brother to join us. We're now seeing friends recruiting friends, bringing riders to PMC weekend and bringing the PMC back with them to their communities across the country. We like to think this is because we're good recruiters and evangelists. And there may be some truth to that. we're pretty aggressive, if nothing else. I think the real reason for this growth is the resonance of the Dana-Farber's mission in the fight against cancer, combined with the magic of the PMC started in 1980 that continues to grow today. Our team growth has translated to fundraising. In 2019, we raised $70,000. Since then, we've raised over $2.7 million cumulatively, $800,000 last year alone. This year, we hope to finally break the $1 million threshold. We're proud of what we've accomplished so far, but we also recognize that we're a small part of an enormous PMC fundraising muscle. We're inspired by the collective energy required to get us to the $1 billion milestone, and we're eternally motivated to be an ever-growing contributor on the road to $2 billion. To do that, and by 2030, we plan to be 250 riders and volunteers, raising $2 million a year, with 25% coming from our reimagined rides. Billy, you can hold us to it. I've had friends, family of friends diagnosed with cancer at what feels like an increasing rate over the last few years. The suddenness and randomness of these diagnoses and new realities creates feelings of panic, despair, and at times helplessness. In the face of this, the Dana-Farber gives hope. 7 years ago, Dana Smith was diagnosed with multiple myeloma with amyloidosis. Today, she's doing great. 11 years ago, that same diagnosis came with an expected outlook of 2 years. The difference is thanks to the Dana-Farber, and in this instance, to Dr. Paul Richardson and his team at the Dana-Farber for their groundbreaking work in advancing the standard of care for myeloma that continues to change and save lives, Dana's included. So, coming back to Sturbridge, to PMC weekend ahead, the Dana-Farber's progress reminds us that every dollar and every mile matters on the road to a world without cancer. And we on Team Next Gen are all in to get to that future. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Fabulous. Without a note, shows you what a young mind can do. Your voice is part of what keeps the mission alive and growing. And now, I want to introduce someone who knows this event from both sides of the registration table. Please welcome Jessica Otto Guay.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Jessica, and we ride the PMC together.
I'm a 3-ton cancer survivor.
He fights for us, so I ride for him.
To the doctor, to the nurses, they never came in the room grumpy. They came in smiling.
When you find out he's sick, there's so many things that run through your mind. Is he's not going to be able to meet my kids. He's not going to be able to walk me down the aisle. And they gave me that back. They gave me the chance to have that.
Join WBZ in supporting the Pan Mass Challenge at cbsboston.com/PMC.
The story of why PMC begins in 2001. I was 10 years old, eating lunch in my middle school cafeteria. It was just like any other day until one of my childhood friends innocently asked, "Is your dad doing okay with his cancer treatments?" I froze. It was like someone had sucked the air out of the room. Yes, he'd been losing his hair, and yeah, he'd been going to the hospital a lot, but I didn't think anything of it. I responded with, "My dad doesn't have cancer." We grew up in Rehoboth, Massachusetts, a small town where everyone knew everyone. My friend had overheard her parents discussing it, but my parents had yet to share it with me. That afternoon, when I returned home, I asked my parents the question that had consumed my thoughts all day. Does Dad have cancer? They looked at each other and then back at me, and gently, they said yes. They had told my younger sister and me a lot of things about his health, but they had left out that one word, cancer. They wanted us to remain kids for as long as we could, to continue with our dance classes and to play soccer on the weekends. They didn't want fear to steal our childhood. I love them for allowing us to live as long as possible, innocently, as children, without the fear associated with cancer or the altered perception of my dad's vulnerabilities. His diagnosis was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma at 39 years old. After chemotherapy, he went into remission. In 2009, he was diagnosed with central nervous system lymphoma. After chemotherapy and a stem cell transplant, he again went into remission. In 2013, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor and made it to remission for a third time after radiation treatment. My parents first learned of the PMC in 2009 when they crossed the bridge to progress between Dana-Farber and the Brigham during his appointments with his oncologist and proud PMC rider, Dr. Ann LaCase. At Ann's suggestion, they went to the lunch stop in my hometown to see what it was all about. Seeing all the riders, the volunteers, and the excitement of the event, my dad was in awe. He looked at my mom and said, "I'm riding in the PMC next year." And he did. He rode alone for 4 years until I convinced him to let me ride too. We got to cross the Provincetown finish line together in 2014 and 2015. In 2016, he was diagnosed for a fourth and final time with lymphoma. He wasn't well enough to ride that year, so he volunteered while I rode. He died on July 31st, 2017, 4 days before PMC weekend and exactly 192 months after his initial diagnosis. During this time where I was consumed with grief and pain, all I wanted was to be at PMC weekend. My best friend had signed up to ride that year in support of me and my family. Many knew of our story and asked me how I was able to ride. My answer to them was, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Before my dad died, I promised him that I would continue to ride the PMC every year for the rest of my life as long as my body allowed it. I had every intention of keeping that promise. What I didn't know was that less than 2 months after he died, the PMC would post a job opening for a part-time intern. I applied, I interviewed, and I landed the internship. Six months later, I was offered a full-time staff position on the fundraising team. I accepted immediately and have been here for 7 years now. For the best reason possible, I broke the promise I had made to my dad. Working at the PMC changed the entire trajectory of my life. It hasn't just given me confidence, it has filled my life with purpose. Every day, I get to witness the sheer power of human connection, the way one person's passion ignites another's, how a single act of kindness can ripple through this community and create something extraordinary. This isn't just a job, it's a privilege. the team captains who pour their hearts into leading, the riders and volunteers who mold their lives around a cause bigger than one singular person, the interns we hire whose passion and energy reminds me why we do this. Each of them has left a mark on me. Their stories inspire me. Their dedication humbles me. And their belief in the PMC's mission fuels my own. But beyond that, the PMC gave my family something I can never repay: hope. When my dad was sick, this community became our guiding light. It gave us a purpose when things felt uncertain, a sense of belonging when we needed it most. I truly believe it gave us more time with him. That's the kind of impact this organization has. That's the magic of the PMC. As Meredith Starr so perfectly said in the PMC origin story video, hope is the business we're in. I'm eternally grateful for the opportunity to dedicate my life contributing small pieces of hope every single day in my career here. To my colleagues at the PMC office, the PMC really does get better every day because of the hard work you do to make this organization better. It is an honor to be on the same team as you. To the doctors, the nurses, and every single person on the Dana-Farber staff, thank you for the expertise, care, and hope you provide to your patients and their families. You truly change lives. To the PMC community as a whole, we couldn't do this without you. Thank you for believing so deeply in the PMC's mission and for being a part of Billy's vision since 1980. We really do get closer by every mile. To my husband, my mom, my sister, and my sweet nephew, thank you for always standing by me and carrying the load at home, in life, every day, with all of the consistency and love in the world. It is because of your support that I can give my whole heart to the work I do here. And to my dad, Peter Otto. I love you. Thank you. And I just wanted to let you know that I think I made it.
Young people more than holding their own, don't you think? Thank you, Jessica. Your story reminds us how this mission becomes a part of who we all are. And now, one of my favorite traditions, the 2025 PMC Rider Roll Call. Here we go. This weekend, we welcome riders from 11 countries outside the U.S., including one from Bermuda, Germany, Israel, the Cayman Islands, New Zealand, Poland, and China. Two from Canada and the Netherlands. Three from Ireland and the United Kingdom. And from 47 U.S. states and territories, including one from Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Puerto Rico, and West Virginia. This is exhausting. 2 from Alabama, Arkansas, Hawaii, Idaho, Missouri, Nebraska, and Oregon. 3 from Delaware and Utah. 4 from Indiana, Ohio, and Wisconsin. 5 from Arizona. 6 from Minnesota, Montana, and Wyoming. 8 from Nevada. 9 from Michigan, Tennessee, and Washington. Pace yourselves. 14 from South Carolina. 17 from North Carolina. 19 from Georgia. 20 from Washington, D.C. 22 from Maryland. 23 from Illinois. 24 from Texas. 38 from Virginia. 44 from Colorado. 49 from Vermont. 56 from Pennsylvania. 61 from Maine. 74 from New Jersey. 88 from California. 90 from Florida. 201 from New Hampshire. 257 from Connecticut. 265 from Rhode Island. 368 from New York. And 4,720 riders from Massachusetts. The cradle of liberty. And now I'm honored to introduce someone whose journey defines what it means to be living proof. Ellen Kirk is a cancer survivor and a 21-year heavy hitter, and a rider whose story will inspire all of us. Please welcome Ellen Kirk. You look nice. Where's your PMC card?
I thought I should dress up.
You want to dress up, okay.
Hi. Thank you, Billy. Approximately 20.94 years ago, my best friend said, "You should do the PMC." To which I replied, "Okay." And about 10 minutes later, I asked, "What's the PMC?" So what is the PMC? You could say it's a bike ride. It's a little like saying a typhoon is a wind event. 2025 is my 21st PMC. And yet, I don't live in New England. Every year, I get on an airplane to be here the first weekend in August. The first year, I flew in from Tokyo, followed by 11 years of coming from California, and now I come from Colorado. Why? Why is this weekend so important to me? Cancer first came from my family when I was 15. My mom's sister died of a brain tumor when she was 37. Next was an uncle, then a grandmother, then a cousin, then another uncle, my dad, last fall, my mom, and 3 weeks ago, my cat. 2 more cousins and one of my dearest friends are still in the fight. And I have too long a list of people who cancer has taken or is trying to take. And I know you do too. What can I do about it? I'm not a world-class scientist. Last year I couldn't even ride my bike because I got a shiny new bionic hip in the middle of July. I can raise money. Every year I send a slew of personalized donations requests to friends, family, what's left in my case, colleagues, former colleagues, random strangers. Yep, random strangers. I fixed a guy's tire on the side of the road and he wanted to give me money. And I said, please donate to my PMC. Troubleshoot some old lady's computer issues? My e-gift number is EK0035. Don't respond to my first email? Get a second. Ignore that one? Yeah, there will be a third. I can be very annoying when I set my mind to it. Does it matter? Hell yeah. And not just in the a billion pennies still add up to $10 million sense. In the what can a single fundraiser accomplish sense. For the last 7 years, I have gotten to support Sigal Kadosh's lab, which doesn't only research cancer. Sigal and her team research the mechanisms on our DNA that, when they go wrong, make cancer happen. Progress in Sigal's lab, in the basic science that she is pioneering, represents progress towards eliminating many different cancers. You got to hear from her on this stage last year. A few weeks ago, Sigal, who is a world-class scientist, told me that my fundraising enabled the continuation of 2 major projects. Thank you. I got to do that. And this year, when the entire ecosystem of academic research is strained to an unprecedented degree, and securing conventional sources of biomedical research funding is particularly challenging, what the PMC does, what we do, $1, 1 mile, 1 pedal stroke at a time, is more critical than it's ever been, and it has immediate impact. Thank you. As I said, I'm not from here. For 20 years, I've had the honor of being part of not 1, but 2 PMC teams. The Hucks, who ride from the border on day 0. The Hucks. And Fat Boy Slim Sisters, who sensibly only ride from Sturbridge or Wellesley on day 1. Each team has members who've known each other forever, several decades, or 6. And yet, every year, they welcome me like they saw me last week. They welcome me like family. The PMC is a family. That's what makes this the best weekend of the year. That and riding past a bunch of cheering strangers holding signs that say, "Cancer-free, thank you PMC," or "I'm alive because of you." And knowing that some future Ellen Kirk might get to celebrate her mom's 95th birthday. What's the PMC? This year, it will be a $76 million gift that we give to Dana-Farber. But every year, it's a priceless gift that we get. And it's a bike ride. Thank you.
Great deal. Thank you, Ellen. Your strength and dedication reminds us exactly why we ride. Your story is one of thousands that keeps this mission so deeply personal and urgent. Ellen is part of over 1,100 riders and volunteers who make up this year's Living Proof community. If you are part of the Living Proof community and you're able, please stand up. In 1991, while Meredith and I were in the French Alps on our honeymoon, I took the opportunity to tackle a few famous climbs. I was 40 years old, fit, and confident in my climbing abilities. I was pleasantly surprised to extend salutations with cyclists who were decidedly my elders, ascending the most arduous climbs. Later, I shared my takeaway from that encounter with Meredith, and I said, the PMC is going to be just fine. Meaning that one of the few things that this nation can agree upon is that a cardio workout, more than even genetic predisposition, is the single most ingredient for a long, healthy life. For 34 years after my honeymoon, and still married, not easy for her. I am thrilled to share with you all that this year's PMC boasts 927 cyclists who are 65 years or older. 362 are into their 70s, 78 of whom are still riding Sturbridge to Provincetown. Senior amongst this group is 79-year-old William Vino from Southport, North Carolina, who will be making his 15th consecutive Sturbridge to Provincetown ride. William, stand up and take a bow, William. You all want that to be you. He doesn't look a day over 55. Of course, there also exists a considerable PMC youth movement. More than 25% of the PMC in 2025 are 35 or younger. That's 1,500 strong. So, to repeat what I told my beloved wife Meredith 34 years ago, the PMC is going to be just fine, and that's thanks to all of you. So, let me close with these thoughts. We ride this year amid economic uncertainty and at a moment where the future of scientific discovery is in real jeopardy. Proposed 40% cuts to the National Institute of Health funding nationwide could mean up to $50 million less for Dana-Farber this year alone, and $18 billion in cancer studies across the country. To date, 2,262 clinical trials have already been terminated. These aren't theoretical dollars. They are the lifeblood of research that's happening right now in labs and clinics, in the lives of patients counting on progress. To put it another way, 354 of the 356 drugs that were FDA approved from 2010 to 2019 had NIH funding. This is not political. It is profoundly personal, because when science is undercut, patients are the ones who suffer. That is why your commitment means more than ever. The PMC is Dana-Farber's largest single contributor. And when others pause or pull back, this community accelerates. We do not just ride to raise money. We ride to fund breakthroughs and to ensure that hope is never extinguished. And we ride to make absolutely certain that nothing and no one stands in the way of the cures we aspire to fund together. Yeah, there's a lot riding on us. There is a lot riding on us, but I've never been more confident in our ability to deliver on that pledge. Ride safe, ride proud, ride closer by the mile. Thank you all. Have a great PMC. Thank you.
They come from all corners of the world.